It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? Would you be my neighbor? Hey, everybody, welcome to another edition of Power to the People. Those of you who are watching by Facebook and by, I'm trying to just go to the show so I could see it, so I could see the comments. Hold on, Mark. I think I may need assistance pulling up the show here. Nope, I got it. Yep. If you see a different backdrop, it is because I got to look that way. Okay. Like this. All right, we're getting it together here. If you see a different backdrop, it is because we no longer have a podcast room. If you don't know, the church there is no East Ferry Sanctuary right now. It has been totally gutted. Mm-hmm. And we are meeting now at our 472 location, 2 services. People ask, why are you having less services with less room? Because we don't have our own parking lot. But big ups to, what's the apartment building up there?
Savarino, 500 Seneca.
500 Seneca, who is going to allow us to have some spaces. And our staff has talked to the building manager. We have our council person talked to Savarino to reiterate it. So when I gave them the sold them the lot. The church wanted the lot, they wanted the lot, and we talked about sharing if we needed to. And the answer was yes, and that was years ago. So thank you, Sam, for honoring that pledge. And so we're going to be parking there, but we're having 2 services because we can't get, our services are only about an hour, so we can't get one service out and then get the next one in because of parking, so much parking in the neighborhoods. So we are going to go down to 2. We are testing out a different way of worship. And I won't say a different way of worship, just handling a lower sanctuary and an upper sanctuary, where sometimes songs will come from the lower sanctuary and other times from the upper sanctuary. And the lower sanctuary has been redone, but that'll be the place you can have coffee and donuts.
The contemporary sanctuary.
Yeah, we're going to supply it as long as it lasts. Mm-hmm. So if you come to church at, and I think that's going to be in the 10:30 service. So if you come to church at 11:15, it'll probably be gone. Probably be gone. But you cannot take it to the upper sanctuary. So some people may enjoy that vibe. We're going to feel it out. We've got 8 months to feel it out and figure it out. I am not thrilled about this move. I'm thrilled about the build, but the move has been intense. And big ups to the many, many volunteers of True Bethel and friends who came in to pitch a hand. And it cannot come at a worse time. Because as I pulled up, the forklifts are being delivered. I forgot about Saturday.
Yes. Yeah.
So Saturday we have a tractor trailer load of food, non-perishable food, and of household goods. I don't even know what's on this truck, but we are sharing this truck with several other churches in our city who will give it away also. So this is much too big, and it's just to give away. It's coming from Compassion International.
Yes.
Coming through Full Gospel Baptist Church, and what they're doing all over the country is they're doing this, and then sharing with other churches, not just Full Gospel churches, but sharing with White Rock, we're sharing with Shub's Church, we're sharing with Apostle Daniels, we're sharing with James Lewis, we're sharing with Pastor Marquita Whitehead, and so all of them will receive a portion. So it's going to be kind of crazy in the parking lot. I can't believe it's tomorrow.
Yes.
I really thought I had a sleep in Saturday.
Nope. Early.
Because I think the truck arrives like 6 in the morning or
Yes.
some.
God
I
awful.
don't even want to say. I didn't even want to put God in it. I don't know why the truck can't come at 10.
I don't know either. But I think, like you said, it's in an effort to be able to distribute, and so those churches can distribute it in their community all in the same day. So I get it. Do we like it? Absolutely not.
No, because I know I'm not a morning person. Like, I don't even guess. I don't even play like I'm a
No.
morning person. And so, yeah, that's happening tomorrow morning. So if you want to volunteer, please feel free. You do not have to belong to True Bethel. You do not have to belong to Redeeming. You don't have to. Nope. You could just come on over, and we want to make sure this gets distributed throughout our community. And thank you to Compassion International. Normally, what they do is they help children overseas, and our church has partnered with them. And our presiding bishop and the presidium challenged them to, as we're taking care of children overseas, to take care of children here. And so this is that effort. And so we look forward to what it will produce.
Hallelujah.
We look forward to what it will produce. Shannon Sharp stepped down from ESPN.
Yeah, he had to step. He had to step away temporarily. You know, He's been a little wild boy. He's been a wild boy. So he had to had to walk away. You know, he got away with one thing last year, and now with this civil lawsuit with alleged sexual assault, I think it was in his best interest to walk away, get that figured out, and then come back to ESPN. I think he was still broadcasting his show last night from the NFL draft. So
I heard he's in the. Well, I read, not I heard. I read that he is like in the middle of negotiating a $100 million podcast.
Yes.
Contract.
Yeah, his media company is it was $100 million. That's what was
$100 million. Now I'm going to say this because I was doing some reading this week about the different generation. 15. I went back 15 years and looking back at how the culture has changed.
Yep.
And a lot. We could talk about all the negatives. But there are some benefits of where we've changed. And one of the places it talked about was social media.
Yes.
And how many African Americans are making millions of dollars on social media. And I'm going to tell you, I ain't mad at them, and I'm grateful because it talked about how we're able to control the narrative better. Where
Absolutely.
Before, like even for recording records and all that kind of stuff. Nice hoodie. Thank you. Yeah. Get my head together.
Yeah.
So even for speaking of which, recording records and all that, and how now you're not forced to go through industry.
Yep.
You're not forced, and a lot of people might not know. Well, I'm sure people who listen to this show know that industry was taking millions upon millions of dollars, and then you have these artists that they weren't making that money.
Right.
They were not making the money. And so, everybody's watching, so Only Depends On. And I remember when she did the first CD, and I photoed it. I did the photos on it. But she was able to get it on all the platforms.
Right.
She was able to get it on Pandora. She was able to get it on Apple Music, all that. And then she was able to get the royalty checks.
Yes.
Just to her.
Directly.
Directly to her. And I remember because it was on our taxes. So at the end of the day, that has changed a lot of artists and what they do and how they're able to. So you would have never had a Shannon Sharp negotiating a $100 million contract. So that's crazy.
And, it goes with and this is now some even journalists with competing podcasts are now talking about it because You also have another former athlete, Pat McAfee, who basically ESPN said, bring your podcast. So right after Stephen A. Smith, who got his $100 million deal, he goes off the air. Pat McAfee's podcast crew and all of his boys just come on the air, and they have a 3-hour block on ESPN. And so he's also looking for $100 million. So now you're in this space where it's like former athletes, journalism, which way are we going with the shift? But like you said, it's now I think people just want more realness. They don't want they don't want so much. I want to hear from your perspective because you were in it.
Yeah.
Not so much necessarily like tell the story and put your spin on it, but give me what the story is and how you feel about it. Because even that's why when Shannon Sharp and Ocho Cinco come on at night, it's a 10:30, 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
Before they even start streaming, there's 18,000 people waiting.
Yeah.
So this shows you the market for that realness.
Well, and network TV is starting to go by the wayside.
Yeah.
I mean, to be very honest, you go certain places now, hotels, all that kind of stuff. Probably the last 5 hotels I stayed in didn't have network TV.
Yep. It was signed into
It
your
was sign into my Netflix, sign into this, sign into that. And I, like you said, just talking about it, I have an Airbnb and I have cable in it. I'm cutting the cable next
off,
week.
absolutely.
Because I'm paying $200 for people to stay in it to watch
local TV.
Local TV, and they're not from the area.
Yeah.
So they don't care about watching the local news. They don't care about watching 2 and 4. They want to see what they entertainment.
Right.
But when I think about it, I don't use network TV. I don't watch the news anymore because I don't want to be tied. I used to run to get the news at 6. You no longer have to do that.
Nope.
I can look at my phone whenever I want to and figure out the news.
And honestly, even what I do now, if I want local news, one of the news stations has a Roku channel. So I just download the Roku channel so I can watch the playback of the last news.
Absolutely.
Whenever I want to.
So I download, I think I've got something called Newsy and Haystack News.
Yep.
So I can go and I can look at different cities and I can look at their news at any time I want to, or certain stories.
Yep.
So I don't have to sit. So it's 6 o'clock and I'm running to it. I'm not. And now that Lester Holt, I don't even worry about 6:30 now because I can catch. I like 6:30 because of Lester Holt. This is Lester
absolutely.
Holt. Other than that, I'm done. I watch 2 things. So on network TV, only one.
Okay.
And that's Abbott Elementary.
Oh yeah.
That's it.
But now I can get that on Hulu too. So I don't
get it on Hulu
so
too.
I'm kind of good on that.
So I record that, and of course Atlanta Housewives. I'm just going to admit it. I'm going to admit it. I don't care. I don't care. Like you said, people want you to be real. I watch Atlanta Housewives. Matter of fact, not only do I watch it, it's recorded on my. It's the only reason I keep a DVR.
Really?
I could get rid of all of my boxes. You don't need the boxes in the house anymore if you got Roku. So I had when I first. This is how fast technology changes. When I first bought my home, I had boxes everywhere.
Yep.
And one day I called Spectrum for another box for another room, and she was like, "I see you got like 8 boxes." She said, "You don't have to have a box at all anymore." And I'm like, "What?"
Yep.
And she's the one who turned me on the Roku.
Yep.
And so now I don't need the boxes, but I keep it so that I can record my show. So let me tell you how I watch Atlanta House. I'm usually home on Sunday at 8 o'clock because we don't have a lot of afternoon services.
Hallelujah.
And I'll let it start recording like a half hour so that I can just skip through the commercials. But the funny thing is when you sit there and you forget that you watch it and you forget that you can
fast forward. Yeah.
So that of having that ability to put your product out there.
Yes.
And now, and this is, I'm looking at some different things to do in not the social media world, but utilizing the internet.
Right.
Because people are funny when they know it's a Black entrepreneur. So all you need is a product.
That's it.
You don't need to put your face on it. We want to put our face on it, show, name it after us. No, my LLC doesn't have anything to do with my name.
No.
That way, when the product is out there, you just buying the product. And you're not, oh, I don't like him, or no, you don't even know you got it from me.
And that was a good thing. We were in the barbershop yesterday talking about, Diddy, and it was like how many people legitimately thought Diddy owned Ciroc. And you didn't. He was just the showman. He was the one with the bottles. He was the one out front with it. But it was still a Russian-owned company.
Yeah,
They just cut him off a slice and said, "Go be the front man in America." And
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so but that's a lot of the times, like you said, we get caught up with who's holding the bottle,
Yep,
who's holding
yep.
the product, this, that, and the other. But there's still a whole nother boardroom that's really making the money
Absolutely.
that can care less about any of that.
Well, I think when you start to remove ourselves out of it, for instance, when we did Buffalo Church, without the name True Bethel, you had more people go to the website when it was, because it's in the airport, buffalochurch.com.
Yep.
And it's like, oh, let me go to this website and see who Buffalo Church is. So it wasn't saying we are Buffalo. We just a church in Buffalo,
right.
and we chose the name. And it takes it away. And I think that a lot of times in business, because African Americans have been the first, we still being the first at so many things.
Right.
So it's like, okay, I'm the first African American on this. I'm the first okay, that's fine, but now you got to produce.
Absolutely.
And then if you pull yourself back, I mean, Elon Musk is the face of Tesla.
Yes.
Is the face of Tesla. However, I mean, it's only now that he's talked about it as much as he is because of the president. Other than that, people talked about Tesla.
Yeah.
They talked about technology of Tesla. They talked about the innovation of Tesla. Now it gets tied to him, and it's going down.
Yeah. And I was getting ready to say, now it was even an article in the paper that now the fact that he is the face of it, stocks are going down, people aren't buying, because now you can tie owner to manufacturer, and it's like, yeah, I'm kind of good on all this.
Yeah.
So
So it is affecting the I'm sorry, I'm trying to plug in. It is affecting the stock. And thank God I don't have any. No, I ain't gonna say that because stocks go up and down.
Up and
so
down.
You get them when they low. If I had got them when they first came out, I'd really be retired.
Yeah. Now I was, and now what's going on with 47 and I can't even think of the position, the Treasury chair. Now it's just a game with the stock market. They're one day the chair says this, stock prices go up. Then Trump says, "Oh, he's an idiot. He don't know what he's talking about," and the stock prices go back there. You're like, you know what? And that's what. Luckily, not at the position you are where he's got to you got to pay more attention because at any moment I can cash out.
Yeah.
I got some years, so I can be a little bit more conservative and not worry about it. But those that are like pressing, like, man, any moment I can pull this. And it's like I'm glad I'm not there yet.
I absolutely. Hey, listen, I want to talk a little bit locally, and I'm going to change a little bit of what I want to talk about, only because I think issues are important. I think issues are important. And I'm wondering, what do you think? We're talking about the local mayor's race, and there's a lot of people still in. So I was going to talk about what you know about them, the candidates, but I really want to hear from people on what their issues are. What are the biggest? Now, I think I know. And okay, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to write down without saying it, so nobody would say, "Oh, he already said that."
Yeah, I moved him over there. Yeah,
I'm going to write down what I think the three main issues and we're talking about what voters want to be addressed. Okay, so I'm going to write down the three. I'm going to
and it's comments only. We don't have our phone today, so.
Okay. It's common. Oh, right. You can't call in. Well, I guess you could, but I don't feel like doing all that because they have to call in, then they have to press my extension and all that kind of stuff. All right. So, okay, I got my first one. Now, I want you all on social media, because I know it's a little delay to get ready. I got my first one.
Oh yeah, they can start commenting. We'll go to the comments after the turn of that.
I got my second one. And this one I'm going to put, okay. And I'm putting them in order of what I think. And then I I really could take call-ins, but then I would have to give my extension. And then, yeah. But I guess you hear my extension anyway when you call.
Yeah, I mean, or they can just call up front and get transferred back.
Yeah. So I will take calls 895-8222, area code 716-895-8222, extension 201. If they listen to all the prompts, they get it.
Yeah.
Extension 201, 895-8222, extension 201. What do you think are the three, or what is your three priorities? What are your three priorities? Let's do that. Or if they match up to the same, I want to know what are your three priorities and what you want to see out of from the mayor's office, out of this administration, out of a new administration, out of any administration for the city of Buffalo. If you're calling in outside the city of Buffalo, tell me about your area, because it might be something different that we can learn about. And this is, this show is about, somebody just said, and I really appreciated Diamond Howard, says she learns so much every time she watches the show. And this is what we hear. I told you, I'm not in this whole fighting against everybody. No, I want to bring information because that's power. And when you know better. What happened, Julie?
When you know better, you do better.
Know better, you do better. Why is my computer? I don't know what happened. Did I just plug in the wrong thing, or is?
But yeah, I do think it's important, and like you said, no matter what area you're in, it's still the same. It's still the same issues, because I think taking the local level off and just explaining civics, it's still the executive branch of whatever municipality, whatever government you're talking about. So we generally look at our executive branches the same way. I want my executive to do this. I want my executive to lead. I want my executive to communicate. What's the plan? What's the plan for my city, state, region, country? So I think no matter where you're at, you can chime in on what do you look at from my executive, the top leader of my area.
And we're going to really talk about it at 12:30 so that I get a real kind of feel. That's a shame. I got ready to say something, and I wrenched over, because I said, "Oh, these last 6 minutes, I want to talk about this," and I don't know. Oh, well, one thing is, before we get to the 12:30 hour. So when we get to the 12:30 hour, I'll have some more generated on social media. The Pope died.
Requiescent path. Yeah.
They say maybe be considering the first black pope.
Listen, I wouldn't be surprised. I think there has been one, but it was like eons ago. And I look it up in the break, but I think there was one in the past. I will say, and I've been on this.
I'll look it up for you.
Okay. If you haven't, there is a great movie it's on Amazon Prime now. It won it was nominated at least. Conclave. So if you really want to know what's getting ready to happen with the Catholic Church, and
all I put in was, has there ever been?
And it first came up.
The first search is a black pope. All I put in. That means that's trending.
Yes, I'm sure.
There have been 3 popes of African origin.
Yeah.
Now that ain't what I'm talking about.
No,
I want some dark hands.
Because I feel like I've seen an image of a darker hue pope.
You may be right. I don't know. The 3 African popes who very, very possibly were black, it says.
Oh, jeez.
Now I'm looking at where it's coming from. Africans root for first black pope in modern history. So I think that's the key. Because these all served during the early centuries of Christianity.
So probably more Moroccan, Ethiopian.
Right. I want to see somebody named Mbuthu.
Well, so if you watch,
that's what I want to see.
So if you watch this movie, Conclave, it's an amazingly done movie. I've already watched it twice, and the second time, and I was with some pastors last night, and one of them had already seen it. There is a homily given at the start of the Conclave. that could reform any church, any
Wow.
church reformation. But it's a great movie, and it walks you through basically what the cardinals of the Catholic Church are getting ready to go through. There's 3 big twists. And once they get to the conclave. So I recommend, if you are interested, before the Pope's funeral tomorrow, if you have a chance to watch it tonight, watch the movie called Conclave.
Well, I watched enough of the real one the last time with
Yeah.
the smoke and
Yeah.
all. I really, really followed it because it was very interesting.
Yeah.
To see how they choose the Pope.
Yes.
And what they go through. But yeah, I'm talking. I don't want to hear the African descent.
Yeah.
And let me tell you why. Elon Musk got African descent.
Yeah, that's true.
I want lips dark, all that. I want full lips, dark skin, all that, and Ghana to be going, yes, we got a black pope. Speaking of, so okay, let me do this, and then I only got 3 minutes, so I really do want to deal with what are your 3 issues, regardless of the city that you live in, and if you don't live in the Western New York or in Buffalo particularly, let me know in the comments of where you live and what is important to you from the executive branch of any of the government of where you're at, because I wonder if what's important in Buffalo is important in Atlanta.
Yeah, one of them was dark.
One of them was dark?
Yeah. I don't know if anybody can see it because of the light.
Okay. That looked like an AI picture, but it's okay. Okay.
Yeah, one of them was darker.
Not in modern history. I
Not
guess
in
that's the
modern
word. Not in the time that I know, you know, my grandmother know, my great-great-grandmother.
These were still 3-digit AD years. So.
Yeah. And we don't even know if that's real. Or or they stuck them in for DEI purposes. We want to show. Speaking of which, the Catholic Church $100 million settlement.
Yeah.
$100 and something million. They got a lot of money, but the church that I wanted them to sell, they didn't sell.
I know. Trust me, I know.
the one they were going to sell.
Oh, they said that one's too new. We ain't.
We was about to be in line, Swan Street. We were about to be in line.
Hallelujah.
Valerie, somebody just volunteered to take things to people who couldn't come out because of health. That was a little earlier in the chat. The chat is full today. Marie Collins, not Ambuthu. Yes, I want some Ambuthu. Oh, Cardinal Peter.
Yeah, that was one of the names.
Well, if he was a pope, why is he still a cardinal? Not Lips Doc. Yeah, I'm telling the truth. That's what I'm talking about. So when we come back, we're going to be talking about your 3 issues, or 3. It might not even be an issue. The 3 things you would want a mayor to pay attention to in the city of Buffalo or anywhere that you are in the country. Let me know. Station, I'm coming over to you in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
When it comes to something as personal as your clothes, you need to deal with somebody you can trust. That's why so many people turn to Hobson's Dry Cleaning, conveniently located in the heart of the community at 874 East Delavan at the corner of Wyoming.
When you take your clothes to Hobson's, you can trust that they'll be ready on time.
You can trust that your whites will be white.
You can trust that you'll always get a fair price and service with a smile.
You can even trust that you won't have to get out of your car if you don't want to. Hobson's has a drive-through window for your convenience.
Trust is what it's all about at Hobson's Dry Cleaning.
Hobson's Dry Cleaning, your one-stop dry cleaners serving the community for over 30 years at 874 East Delavan at the corner of Wyoming. Call 891-8298. That's 891-8298.
Brian K. Lewis Funeral Home has 3 locations to serve you in Buffalo. 347 Peckham, 2258 Bailey Avenue, and Providence Memorial Chapel at 1275 Sycamore. Brian K. Lewis Funeral Homes offers traditional services, and they have services for all faiths. And at Brian K. Lewis Funeral Homes, they have air-conditioned parlors and chapels. Financing is available, as is limousine service. At those difficult moments in your life, Brian K. Lewis Funeral Homes is available where you are with counseling services, call toll-free 877-885-7734. That's 877-885-7734. Or locally, 845-5545. Brian K. Lewis Funeral Homes. We are here to serve you, here to serve this present age. Call today, toll-free, 877-885-7734. Or email info@brianklewisfuneralhome.com.
All right, I'm going to talk about the three things, but during the break, I was looking over the news, and Pope is lying in state. Now you all know I love a good funeral. I love a good funeral, and I say that in all due respect. I love when you celebrate somebody's life. Yeah, I love it. So the Pope is they got him spread out. I love it because you know how. Now I was in Atlanta when Jimmy Carter.
Okay, yeah.
And you know Jimmy Carter, Atlanta. So it was a big deal.
Huge.
I would have went downtown to see him laid out because I like Jimmy Carter. However, when I saw on TV that all you do is walk past a closed casket, I was like, I'm not driving downtown Atlanta, then have to pay for parking to look at a closed casket. I'd go over to Brian K. Lewis and do that and put a flag on it and give my respects to Jimmy Carter, anybody else who did. I'm not doing that. I'm not. If you ever seen the traffic in Atlanta, you think I'm going to take my tail through traffic in Atlanta to walk, and they was just walking past.
Yeah, no, I'm good on that.
They doing that little head dip, that Roman Catholic head dip in the cross.
I'm good on that.
So big ups to the Roman Catholics.
Yeah,
because he looked like I think that the man died. They just stuck him in the casket.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it was quick. I swear, it was like 48 hours, and he was lying in state with the glass, full regalia, and I love it. But again, that's whether that's the culture in us, the pageantry of the liturgical order. It's just
when they walked him up those stairs and he was laying there, and they ain't put the top on them.
Yeah.
I said, "Go ahead, Roman Catholics, go ahead." Now I would join y'all just for that, just for that.
I was getting ready to say it's the epitome of what we all try to do in the black church.
Oh yeah, we try. We don't capture it always, but I'm going to tell you this: they captured it, and I promise you, whoever embalmed him was a Roman Catholic.
Oh, absolutely.
I want y'all to hear this.
Yep.
Whoever embalmed him, they didn't call nobody else. That's why I'm telling y'all about Brian K. Lewis. You because I'm seeing a lot of y'all. Creep on out there
on the other side,
and then let me leave it alone.
But to your point, that's where the Catholic Church, I would say, next up is Church of God in Christ, because the national adjutancy, when a bishop transition, they are certified funeral directors, so they go in and it is the order that no one touches the bishop's body, unless you are from Church of God.
And I'm with it. I'm with it 100%.
Absolutely,
I'm with. Look, let me just say this, and I'm done, and I'm going to the numbers.
Yep.
I don't care what you say. Can't nobody do a black body like a black person.
Body, absolutely.
Because we know the makeup, all that kind of stuff.
Don't be painting me with offshoot caramel. And
you can't use Becky's makeup on Belinda.
Oh,
you can't use Becky's makeup on Belinda
with some red blush and no,
you can't.
No.
You got to know the right thing.
Yeah.
You cannot use Karen's hair on Quanisha.
Mm-mm.
All right, let's go to it.
Okay.
Not the head dip. The head dip. All right, Veronica Ivy, I'm going to go from the bottom up and just keep on giving me.
Okay.
So we're talking about the three things you want out of a mayor. And those who are running, listen up. And I'm sure you've been out, so you know these things, but I think let's bring this to the people. Katrina on here trying to do some preaching. God garnish Aaron's robe. Oh. We have an awesome, flamboyant God. All right.
Okay.
Veronica Ivy says affordable, safe, stable housing, because that impacts education, decrease in crime or violence, like stealing cars, modified. I want to come back to that because is that a hot button issue that people are going to then say, but you're going to put black kids in jail. It's going to be, and three, modern city modern buildings, clean streets, building and houses are ancient. Now I'm gonna come back to all of hers. Because that's where, when I ran, that's how I felt. Ooh, I want to put
that's
LED on everything I want. So we're going to come back to Veronica. You gave me a lot. Veronica Grayson says infrastructure of city, education and accountability of those in city government. Veronica Grayson, I hope you come back and stretch out on that just a little bit more so that we can talk about yours too. Katrina says economic development in the neighborhoods among the people that live there. I'm going to come back to that.
Yep.
Amenities that promote wellness and pedestrian-friendly neighborhoods. I'm going to come back to that. Security and safety. Okay, I got a lot to unpack here. Diamond Howard says the first one is potholes in the streets. And my second one is slumlords, landlords. I don't know the third one. My third one was kind of tough too. I learned.
Yeah,
okay, that was it, right?
Yep, so far.
Okay, so I can go to the bottom. All right. So let me, and at the end of the show, I'll give you what I thought. Veronica says affordable housing, safe. I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the tough part, and I'm just speaking as somebody who has been in government.
Right.
City of Buffalo really doesn't. We don't have any money for affordable housing.
We don't have any money.
We get our money for affordable housing from the state and federal government.
Right.
And so if the state and federal government, so I like to educate, because you say, well, why isn't the mayor doing more affordable housing? You can't do it if you don't have the money that comes from the state and comes from the federal government. That's it, folks. Buffalo has no money for affordable housing. So some of that, I hate when I do my hands like that now, because I look like, you know who I look like doing that mess. So that's where you really need to advocate with your state. And like now, budget is almost at the end, but those are conversations that should be happening with your state representatives all year long.
Right.
And federal representatives. Because a lot of times we pay attention to the local race and we don't pay attention to the state and the federal. They have the real money.
It's real money.
We don't have, and one of the things that I thought would be brought up still hasn't been brought up online. All right, so she talks about that. Decreasing crime, like stealing car. Okay, so right now there's a trial going on in city court, Carrier Horn trial,
Yes.
which is, I mean, I've been reading. They doing a lot.
I mean, the fact that it's almost 3 years later, I done
Right.
forgot more than that.
Right,
Like,
right. So
not that it's a laughing matter. But
no, right.
yeah.
Right. So at the end of the day, do you think if there was this publicly heightened crime prevention, that people would feel like you targeting us? Because
Absolutely, and that's where we've been at with this struggle. As much as we laud Bill Clinton, the thing that he was his staple was the crime bill in 1993, but that ended up putting more people of color in jail than any other president.
Yeah.
So if you go hard on crime, because if you go hard on crime without changing the culture of a police force, then we're doomed to fail. Anyway.
then are we back at George Floyd days?
Absolutely.
Nita Dixon Sawyer says housing programs for the homeless. Charles Everhart says leadership, infrastructure, economic stability for the city. So I'm going to go back to Veronica because that's who I'm. So she says modern city. Now, Veronica, let me tell you why that's hard in Buffalo.
Yep.
Now, so that's why I don't like Trump not getting along with Canada. I love Canada. I love going to Canada. And you go to Canada and you're going to see some old houses, but you're going to see whole communities of new, and not just affordable housing, new housing that is like out of this world. And we can't do it here the same way because there's a heavy preservation community that, if you remember, there was a time when we were knocking down everything. People was like, thank you, because our neighborhoods. And then you get a change in, ideology.
Yep.
And it's like, let's save everything.
Yep.
Let's save the old buildings. Let's say, and let me tell you this. So one of my first things I wanted to do when it was the BAC then, they were going under the new management, and I was like suggesting to them, they wanted to do a modern facade.
Wow.
Franzak was on, Councilmember Franzak, who I grew to respect so much, because whatever Franzak believed in is what he believed in.
Yes.
And in the beginning, there was
And
we
the
had
charter
tension.
was, and the charter was law.
The charter was
Bible.
law, and I really appreciate David Franzak. At the end of the day, Dave fought against it.
Yep.
And I'm like, well, why? And he was like, look at the architecture. So you have that. You don't have most of the young professionals, and I shouldn't say most because that's I can't quantify that. But I'll say many move out. They move away.
Yes.
So you still have folks who remember when Amanese was there and Sattlers was there and this was that and don't change this or don't change that. And so when you talk about a modern city in a place that's still holding on, like gripping to preservation, and nothing against preservationists.
Right.
I want to say it. I've supported some things being preserved, but then there's other things I'm like, if y'all don't bring a wrecking ball to this thing.
And like you said, the change of philosophy was now it was like, oh, well, let's put more money into adaptive reuses.
Right.
And so that's where then the tie started
Which
to shift.
is questionable
Yes.
at most. And I have been in the throes of court fights there where when I look back at it, it's like I rode past the church on Humboldt that's for sale. It's got fencing up. And they just put a big sign on it in the last day or so. Price drop. Well, yeah, the price dropped. The price dropped. Because it's time for that building to drop.
Absolutely.
And then we got this other one that's been sitting on East Ferry. I tried to buy that years ago, but it's got deed problems. It's still sitting there.
Yeah.
And if you put it up for demolition, then you're going to have people come out going, don't demolish it.
We can
leave
find
it there.
somebody.
But then you don't find the money if it's not in the right neighborhood. If you don't find, think about it. Who's donating money to rebuild this place down on East Ferry?
No one.
If they were, they would have did it. What'd she say?
Veronica Ivy said, it looks like we just hosted the 1902 Pan American Exposition.
Veronica, you ain't right for that. You ain't right for that. But
There's a point.
There's a point. Where do we? Okay, so LaMonica is saying affordable housing. I just explained that, and so we got to be more than just the mayor and the council.
But no, and then she put in parentheses rent control, and I think
totally agree
to
an extent.
And that's the thing, to the extent, and we have to. Again, it's one of those checks and balances because you need New York State to pass that. So
yes,
so again, it's one of those things you're asking the executive of Buffalo to advocate, but it's really a state law that has to be passed in New York City.
We're trying to teach because I do agree that landlords shouldn't just be able to raise your rent 100%.
Yes,
and now you're out there because it's creating homelessness.
Yep. I think we were at.
She's talking about. that Scanlon made that one notorious slumlord accountable. I ain't mad at that at all. He went to. I think he got locked up.
He did get locked up, and I think even to that point, it's when you finally see a change in housing court that things can start to move, because for a lot of years, housing court ended up being where things just went, and it was kind of just died, and nobody was being held accountable, because if you showed up with a lawyer, you got 6 months, and then you got another year, and then
I lived it.
Yeah,
I had a house next door to my house that I went to housing court so many times.
Yep.
And I'm like, sir,
do something.
Then the man came. Now the man said he didn't have money to fix up the house, or he was whatever. But he came with a lawyer.
Yep.
So you paid the lawyer to come tell the judge you don't have the money, and it sat. Now somebody's fixing it up. Thank God.
Hallelujah.
Taking all day, but I'm okay. Any progress is better than no progress.
Yep.
So yeah. So okay, that's Veronica. Give me another one. Where are we at?
Let's see. We were
Grayson, we did her.
We talked. Well, potholes, of course, is a huge one.
But guess what? You don't. Well, people are saying it in different ways because
Yes,
Katrina
infrastructure.
says infrastructure. So we're talking about potholes.
Yes.
Now, if I was running for mayor, I'm telling you, potholes would be one of my number one things. Now that we're getting close to the close of the show, what I did not see. So here are my three:
Okay.
streets.
Yep.
I said taxes,
I have economics.
and then I had neighborhoods.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What did you have?
Mine, couldn't think of a third one, but that was good because I literally put quality of life, and now being in that side, so I was thinking streets, sidewalks. I know curbs is a big one for everyone, but and we found out the cost for curbs is astronomical. So generally when curbs get done, it's part of either a state or federal project, so then that way they can cover the cost of the curbs on a new street. But it was quality of life in streets, and I wrote economics and so, to go with taxes, and I think, and I kept it broad because I think what we also make the mistake is, for some people, we put national issues and local government races. So you'll mess around at a mayor's town hall, talk about, well, what are you going to do with the price of eggs? And it's like, that's not so.
Absolutely.
So economics, and like I said, I'll just grab taxes into that one. But I do think that one is huge.
Oh, just then, hot off the press, George Santos has been sentenced.
Wow.
George Santos, the former congressman, has been sentenced to over 7 years in prison for fraud. Let's see. Before getting booted, sentenced to more of Politico. It says that he was sentenced to more than 7. It's taken a while to load. 7 years in prison. So this just happened about 20 minutes ago. A little more than 20. It was updated at 12:32. A federal judge on Friday sentenced disgraced former Representative George. He was just lying.
Crazy.
This dude was lying for no reason to lie. To more than 7 years in prison for wire fraud and aggravated identity theft in a case that resulted in his expulsion from Congress and capped a colorful flame out for the first-term Republican. The 87-month sentence for Santos, who wept as it was announced, came after a memorable one-year stint in Congress. He was there for longer than that, right? In which he was exposed, in prosecutors' words, as a pathological liar and fraudster. I won't go on, but yeah, you ever met somebody who just lied to lie?
No.
Just say stuff. I know you don't watch Housewives, so I can't even equate it to that. But Drew just was on talking about she was from the family of Michael Jordan. And then the other woman is married to Charles Barkley, and she asked Michael Jordan whether he was related to Drew, and then Michael Jordan said no, and then I really watched.
Oh, you
I really watched.
You name dropping like
yeah.
I'd have been up here like that one said, and this one, and the other one. He name dropped it like he was on the phone last night.
Katrina says, I'm not trying to save people from paying taxes that own multiple rental properties that are not their residence. I agree that I think it would be wonderful to have a taxing structure that honored people who live in the city of Buffalo and who live in the property, and a structure for those who are pure investors in properties in the city of Buffalo. The only problem or challenge is they're going to pass that to the renter.
Absolutely.
And as Don says on here, BMHA even getting out of control with rent. They are also not keeping up with apartments. He walked out smiling. Don says we got all kinds of topics going on right now. Don says he walked out smiling. I just don't. I have met people who lie and don't even have a reason to lie.
Just, yeah.
Is it really 76? No, my thing up there. Oh, because we probably don't have a thing up 61. So
it's 76 in here. That's
it's the temperature in here.
Yeah.
Okay, I ain't mad about it. And I was out last night with top down. I don't mean my shirt off. Do top down mean shirt off?
No.
Okay.
no.
Okay.
No, we don't.
We need attractions. LaMonica Harris says we need attractions to bring people to visit Buffalo. Can we build up downtown? I'm just giving the real stuff so you understand. Downtowns, unless you're in a major city, the way you build up downtown is through entertainment
Yes.
or industry. We don't have an industry.
No.
But Western New York's real industry used to be the steel plants. So
And we got stuck.
we got stuck. Towns now, I mean, I'll give you an example. Orlando, Florida. If you go downtown Orlando, Florida, it's boring as hell. Know what?
Right.
There is a rush hour because I-4s are always full. However, downtown, you don't have to rush around downtown. It's not bustling. Obviously, people are there for the amusement parks.
Right.
Atlanta's downtown has all of these industries.
Yes.
So it is bustling. So we either have to have great entertainment like a Memphis. So when you go to Memphis, you go to Nashville, your downtown basically is bustling
Right.
because of that. People moved out to malls. They moved to the suburbs.
Yes.
So your cities, unless they're booming like in Atlanta, a DC, that the industry is government and all of that, downtowns by and large are not the real epicenter of what's happening. Now, I could be wrong.
No, but I think a lot of your other major cities where they have done it right is you build up your waterfronts or your areas close to downtown so people can stay downtown, which then in turns means, people are in restaurants downtown, people are going out, you're going to clubs downtown. But again, even if you look at your Rust Belt cities, all of your sports arenas are downtown or right off the water.
Yep.
So again, if just say Pittsburgh, all three of their stadiums right off of downtown, even their convention center is stadium, convention center, stadium, and downtown is in the back shot. But where do then people have to stay? Downtown. So it's there's a system, but so if you're not, like you said, a venue or area, but I think Atlanta's the same way. Like a lot of their arenas are right in the hub of downtown.
The Mercedes, I think it's Mercedes-Benz or whatever it is. Yeah, you right past it.
But
even when they had the Olympics there,
yes,
it
was downtown.
Yep. So all of that infrastructure is still there. You
Yes.
can still go and see the downtown. One of the things they say about, and I know we're almost out of time, about mix, they talk about downtowns that are lively after hours typically have a strong mix of residential, retail, dining, and entertainment.
Absolutely.
I don't even look for places downtown to eat.
No.
I don't even consider it. And that's not good.
Especially not past a certain time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I don't even look at it. And that's not good. I'm not saying that that's right. I'm saying it's just in my natural, just like I don't run to watch the 6 o'clock news. When downtowns are dominated by office buildings, they tend to empty out after workday. And that's Orlando.
Yep.
So downtown Orlando is just office buildings. When 4 o'clock hits, the I-4 packs up.
Yep.
And then that's it. You come back downtown, and that's it.
My hometown, Wilmington, was the same way. It was once you got past 6 o'clock, all of the major business strips closed because there's nobody down there anymore.
Well, so one of the articles talking about COVID and the hybrid workers, I think that this needs to be updated a little bit, this article, because now companies are saying come back.
Yeah.
Google is telling their workers come back,
Everybody.
and you got to they want you to live within 50 miles, and they want you to work in office 3 days a week.
Yeah.
So all those people who's working for Google and living in Indonesia, well, I don't know if they live in Indonesia, living in foreign countries,
Yep.
they got to come back. So many of them have to come back. It also talks about bustling downtowns are often designed to be walkable with public spaces. Well, we don't have a lot of money to make everything walkable. And that's, again, government. Which government can do that?
Yep.
You got to have – listen, City of Buffalo is strapped. You have to have other money and other partners to do that. And they talk about parks where people can linger. In Orlando, there is Lake Eola, which is a man-made water park. Water feature in the middle of not Atlanta, Orlando. Community and cultural, public and private investment.
Help them, Jesus.
historical and economic context, local identity, and sense of place. So
I think the last one to hit on before would be the
What's that?
the economic development in neighborhoods.
Mm-hmm.
And I know we said we were coming back to that one, and again, that one gets tricky because then everyone throws the big G word out there, gentrification.
It happens all the time.
So so you get into that, like, okay, we can develop, but then are we driving the prices out and pushing people out who've been there? So it is a balancing act, because then, like, if you've been there 30 years, nobody wants to put you out. But then if we start infilling housing,
Yes.
that houses are going for
Yes.
400,000,
Yes.
and you're
Do you know, and I think I shared this on this show, that I had neighbors when I bought the house that I live in now who were angry that I was buying the place
Yep.
and redoing it. And they said, quote, he's going to make our taxes go up,
Yep.
which me doing my home has nothing to do with your taxes.
No.
And number one, if your taxes go up, that probably means the value of your house is going up.
Yep.
I don't know of a person who has ever bought a house that does not want the value of their house to go up.
No.
For most people, it is your greatest investment.
Yes, it is.
Your car is not an investment. It depreciates the moment you drive off the lot. Your home is an investment. So that was a problem.
Yep.
That people we good now, but the point is that there was a few neighbors who were having this whole discussion about what is Pridgeon doing and here. Wow. Eva Doyle, I'll sign off with this. I would like to see the next mayor work more on the education by making it a campaign for excellence, and work more closely with our schools to use money they get from the city more effectively. And we got India Walton on. I'll say this to India. Hola, ¿cómo estás, mami? Yo sé.
Living the big life.
Un grande, un grande. She visited someplace the other week. Hey, listen, it's been a wonderful show. Listen, Brian K. Lewis Funeral Homes, 3 locations to serve you. Brian K. Lewis in your hour of need. That's Brian K. Lewis Funeral Home. And Hobson's, the Dr. Dry Cleaning. That's right. For all of your dry cleaning, go to Hobson's, the Doctor of Dry Cleaning. They'll get it right for you. They even do sneakers. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Got my kicks on.
Wait. Okay. Oh,
Don't play.
Oh, the fresh
Don't
J's.
play. Don't
Okay.
play. Don't play. Don't play. Don't play. I told y'all.
Ooh.
I'm woke.
Oh, he's
I'm in
free.
these streets.
Good. He is outside with
I'm
the fresh
outside.
J's.
I'm outside. I was in my car the other day. Sun was beaming down. I had on my hat. I said, no, I'm not.
Oh, absolutely.
I like
Hat gotta
sun,
come off.
and
Absolutely.
I need a little tan on this ball
I was
here.
getting ready to say, my sunroof was open all day yesterday.
You don't like it? Don't like it. But I'm in these. I'm outside.
I'm outside.
I'm outside. All right, y'all. It's been a great show. Thank you for all who participated in our new temporary location. Oh, I want to thank Bishop Jeffrey Bowens called me today.
Okay.
And he said, hey, this has been on my heart. He didn't call and ask me for nothing. He said, I know you all are at Swan. He said, if you need a sanctuary, if you got something going on and Swan is used, or you need something,
Wow.
you could come over here. So I want to say thank you to Bishop Jeffrey Bowens and the Love Live Church. All right, all right, everybody. Until next week. Power
Power
to the people.